Having a millenary history and known ever since the Roman Empire as a municipality called Palendava, Craiova city represents today the administrative, economic and cultural heart of the southwestern region of Romania. The most representative administrative buildings are naturally located in the center of the city. The whole area was completely restored in recent years, offering a harmonious and pleasant image, where modern usefulness blends with the classical attraction of the urban traditions of the past centuries. The inhabitants of Craiova, or the tourists in town, have the opportunity of strolling through the central area, where the buildings, gardens and ornamental fountains alternate cleverly. Most certainly, the main point of attraction and interest is represented by the old centre, which was completely refurbished, succeeding in preserving almost intact the charming style of the houses and streets in the last century. The houses of the rich merchant families were located here, and they were the people that contributed through their welfare to the general development and modernization of Craiova. Architecture still retains details that remind us of the luster of the times, when elegance and refinement were in great esteem in the society of Craiova. The urban centre of Craiova is Michael the Brave Square, whose name is given by the equestrian statue of ruler Michael. In 2006, this place entered an ample process of urban refurbishing, being conceived as a promenade and recreation place for the inhabitants. As faith has always been an important landmark in the life of the people living on this land, one of the most beautiful churches of Craiova, dedicated to the Holy Trinity, has been superbly integrated and put forward in Michael the Brave Square. The Art Museum, known also as Jean Mihail Palace, is the most beautiful construction of Craiova, being built at the beginning of the 20th century between 1900 and 1907. The person in charge of the palace designs was the French architect Paul Gauthiereau, at the request of Jean Mihail, one of the richest men of the epoch. The highest quality materials and revolutionary architectural techniques were used in building the palace. The building has an imposing outline, with firm but elegant lines. Since August 1954, Jean Mihail Palace shelters the Art Museum of Craiova, the most important cultural institution of Oltenia, which has in its patrimony an impressive collection of Romanian and foreign art. Lingering in the same area of museums, we can say that the Museum of Oltenia, especially with its section of history and archaeology, holds a prominent place on the list of attractions in the city. The museum was set up on April 1, 1915, under the name of the Regional Museum of Antiquities and Ethnography. The current section of history and archaeology operates in a classical edifice with sober and imposing lines built at the beginning of the 20th century, which initially hosted a girls' school. The world of books has always been the forefront of the cultural and spiritual life of any community, and Craiova makes no exception. Alexander and Aristia Aman County Library represents a place where the written word fulfilled its mission of marking the passing through history of these places and scholars. This establishment was set up on December the 21st, 1908, by courtesy of spouses Alexander and Aristia Aman, who bequeathed all their assets for the foundation of a complex cultural center made of a library, an art gallery, and a museum. Marin Sorescu National Theatre was established at the middle of the 19th century and operated over time in more locations. The current building was inaugurated in 1973 and contains 2 performance halls totaling 820 seats and a multifunctional lobby. Starting with 1989, the theatre company begins cooperating with names of international prestige, while the play staged in Craiova became known all over the world. In recognition of its artistic value, Marin Sorescu National Theatre is the first East European theatre to become a member of the European Theatrical Convention. A prestigious institution in the Romanian musical landscape, the Oltenia Philharmonic of Craiova, was founded in 1904 and reorganized in 1947 by royal decree signed by King Michael. The current premises belong to a set of constructions built after the great earthquake of 1977. From an artistic point of view, the events organized over time and the renowned musicians that performed in this edifice made this institution in Craiova an important landmark of the Romanian musical life. Placed at the crossroads of the main commercial routes in the Middle Ages, with a rich tradition of merchants, itself plundered and burned time and again over the troubled times of the past century, Craiova hosts a festival of the outlaws every year. Hundreds of children and parents listen breathlessly to the stories of the Oltenian outlaws. During the show, stuntmen and professional actors perform in front of the spectators the stories of some famous outlaws, such as Iancu Gianu, Andrei Popa, or Angel 7 Horses. The show is lived with maximum intensity, with fight sequences, special effects, explosions and dangerous stunts that represent the delight of the spectacle. The days dedicated to Michael the Brave Festival unfold in the old center of the city, while during the manifestations some demonstrations of medieval fights take place, and also singing lyrical scenes where princesses and knights create a fairy tale world, being invited to take part all those wishing to know the history of the city in the region. People can admire weapons, helmets, and shining armors. Under the attentive supervision of an instructor, anyone can test his skills in archery. Outdoor concerts with medieval accents complete the fairy tale atmosphere. As it is but natural, perhaps the most important event is represented by the celebration devoted to Craiova's days. For a whole week, there are manifestations with cultural and historical themes, where the public is presented landmarks of present-day city life, or from the recent or more distant past. An original moment is the operetta concert inspired by Carmen of Bizet, presented in a modern manner with rock music accents. The result is a successful combination between classical and modern, a surprising and attractive musical product for the young audience. The series of events continues with outdoor concerts of popular and light music organized in different districts of the city, where public attendance is high and joyful. The tango and salsa contest represents a good occasion for professional dancers and also for the amateurs to offer a demonstration full of grace, where the pairs elegantly step on the music rhythms. The main street of the center is changed into an old pedestrian area, where popular craftsmen, creators of traditional objects and amateur artists present their products, so that all the visitors have the chance to find here at least one object to buy for themselves or as a gift for the loved ones. Car lovers have the opportunity of admiring an old car exhibition in the city centre, where the respectable old cars make their presence full of elegance and refinement, a real occasion to admire these wonderful jewels, some with a long history on the roads of Romania or Europe. The manifestations dedicated to the fine arts continue in Michael the Brave Square, where the Philharmonic of Craiova offers a grand spectacle of classical music, appreciated by all those present. The whole area is dedicated to concerts, the evening going on with a modern music concert presented by well-known artists. The National Theatre brings its actors outside in the evening, in William Shakespeare Plaza, to act outdoors, a way in which the public feel they are part of the show, enjoying the replies and dialogues on this particular stage. An ancient cradle of history and civilization, Craiova built its heritage on the remarkable achievements of the men of culture that were born, lived and created here, who left to the next generations countless works of great value in different fields of activity. The historical buildings, the monuments and cultural edifices of Craiova seem to come to life during the various artistic festivals, an occasion for the inhabitants or tourists to take part and integrate in the created atmosphere. The content of this material does not necessarily represent the official position of the European Union.